Thank you.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can you please have a roll call?
Rebecca Bear,
Present.
George Andrews.
Present.
Lynn Roner. Rich Davis.
Present.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
A motion to approve the minutes from our previous meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to first, we have a quote from AVT for Lehman and JTL Intermediate School upgrades for the TV studios. Any questions in regards to that?
Did we go with the same company that we used the last time?
Yes.
Like, okay.
Brian's Brian's on Zoom too, if you have any
Okay.
questions for him.
Oh, good.
Hi, Brian.
Hello, Brian.
Hello, good evening. Yes, same company.
Okay. Great. Thanks.
Okay.
You keep those questions coming.
Next, we have the donation from boxes for Uline.
Yeah, these boxes were actually, this is the board policy requires the board to accept any donations, no matter what the amount. So this is, they actually already received it. We already received the donations and I used them for the Christmas time projects. It was just that we received it too late for the December board meeting. So this is the value of the donation, $385.84. So it's the value of the white boxes that we received for the Stone project, the ESC.
I think the shipping cost almost as much as the boxes.
Yeah.
I looked at the invoice. Well, I'm wondering if we should send to policy a recommendation to say anything over $1,000 needs to be, approved by the, because it's kind of silly to say, for $300 that we're gonna have to put it on our agenda.
And the next one's a donation of.
I will have the policy committee review that.
Okay.
Pass that on.
Yep.
And the next item is a donation from Roland Digital. for a
No,
piano.
it's actually a donation from Sonia Birch. She's
Oh,
yeah, so she's donating a Roland digital piano. She reached out to.
there it is, yeah.
Yeah, she reached out through the music department and had someone inspect it and look at it and they accepted the donation. So it'll be, the teacher at ESC will use it for their music program, their vocal music program. So it was already looked at and inspected. So I think when you look at the policy, we have to make sure that we don't just willy-nilly accept donations, that it's actually something that's useful and can be used and moved. Because what happens is sometimes people have good intentions on donating things, but the donations have, they're not capable of being used, or we can't use them in a particular way.
Right.
So this particular piano can be used, and ESC and the teacher can use it, and will facilitate its moval or transport to ESC once the board approves it.
Okay.
One of the things that I read in the document here is that they said that the digital piano in one of their music rooms is broken, so this fits because
Yeah.
they can use it.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, how many other pianos or equipment do we have that's broken that needs to be mended or replaced like that? And so,
Somebody would have to tell us.
yeah, I guess so. And I'm, that was, to me, was the concern.
I mean, we had a trombone we couldn't give to the school.
And they'd have to report it. They'd have to
Yeah.
report it to us. And also, for the record, I want to say, I made a mistake at the last finance committee meeting. The cafeteria tables that were purchased at JM Hill were purchased out of the general fund, not the cafeteria fund. Moving forward, they can be purchased out of the cafeteria fund. They just have to be follow a different procurement method. They have to, because it's more stringent.
It
And more
probably has
strict.
federal dial.
Right, so when George, you asked, and I said it was the cafeteria fund, I meant I should have said general fund, so I apologize for that.
No problem.
Okay, so I just wanted to correct the record on that too.
The next item is our Act One resolution, be it that we will resolve not to raise taxes above the Act One index, which is 5.6% this year.
So this is not saying you're
That going to rate, it says we could
It's saying
possibly,
that you could possibly, but you will not go beyond.
the Act One index, yes.
Correct.
We do that every year.
I know, but we just want to say it again
Yeah.
for the public watching.
We're not
You're
planning
saying
on, we're not
raising
planning.
taxes, but we're saying it's in the possibility.
Okay. And the next item is the Ready to Learn Tax Equity Resolution for the 25-26 school year.
Correct. So this resolution is required under the new law that was passed, or the extra funding that the state government passed. As you know, as I've talked about in the past, East Stroudsburg area will receive $5.5 million from this. However, we receive the money this year, but we cannot spend it until 25 and 26. The law requires by statute that the board pass a resolution stating what they will use the money for. And there's 5 tenants as to what we can use the money for. And the tenant that best fits the Stroudsburg area school district is the one that we wrote the resolution for, which is that we've lost over $104 million in assessment values over the last 4 years, which has led to a reduction in our real estate tax revenue of $3.2 million. And so we will use that money, the $5.5 million in Act 55 to help fill that gap. And that gap will be something that we will continue to experience moving forward. So I think also in pursuant, the district hasn't raised property taxes in 14 out of the 15 years that we've been here. So I think that's very, very important for the taxpayers to note that this also fills that gap as well. So this is a very good way to use it. And, you know, East Stroudsburg, and I think the legislator recognizes statewide that East Stroudsburg's blight on what has happened with the real estate assessment problem here.
I'm not so sure of that,
And
but
Yeah, but I mean,
so in my conversations, I think there's a misunderstanding on a couple of our local legislators, whether or not the amount that we've lost. Now, what I'm looking at here is that we're going to be getting 5.5 million, but our actual loss is only like 3.2
For last year.
for last year. I'm wondering if like the delta of that, the 2.3, if we should consider at least part of that to go back as some kind of tax abatement.
So we are anticipating, we just got word today of more assessed value decreasing for the next school year.
Yes,
Um,
wonderful.
So although right now that's the realized delta, we anticipate for next year there to be another decrease in assessed value
Mhm.
that will have a longstanding impact.
and that's a perpetual delta. It's
Yes.
not just a one time. So, and that's the Shawnee golf course.
Okay, wonderful.
So that's another one that we will be talking about, asking you guys to do and approve an appeal, an
Settlement.
appraisal, not an appraisal to go out to kind of combat that, but
Right.
so there is a lot of things that go into this type of thing. So otherwise, I would be on that side of the aisle agreeing with you, but given the district's financial state, I am not in that favor.
Okay.
But for instance, we're saying we don't, with this money, we don't have to raise taxes, basically, are we?
We don't know. We
No,
are not saying.
No, we're not saying that. No.
We are saying that this will help with the deficit we are currently in.
Yeah.
And part of that deficit was caused by the reduction in assessed value.
Okay.
Right.
So
The assessment is. what
we are going to come to the board with a recommendation of a tax increase of us, and we're going to give you what a 1%, a 3%, a 5.6% would look like with our families. First, we want to roll out the budget, but we are going
So
to
we're,
come with
we're gonna look. for-
what tax increase would look like and
Okay.
how that would impact our people, right, our taxpayers in our district, but also our budget. But
But
we're not there yet. and
But we're not gonna hit that
gonna
5.6% is what we're saying.
Right,
In the first.
Right, and-
Yeah, everybody's very.
yeah, these are two completely separate,
Yeah,
yes.
okay,
And these are two completely separate items, the tax increase supplement and the Act 1 supplement and Act 1 resolution. And we will also give you at that time, or as we go along in the budget process, what each scenario will look like in future years. So it wasn't just a 1 year, like a 1 year thing. Okay.
right. Okay,
The next item is the resolution of the Board of Education for concerning tax collector compensation.
Yes, so this hasn't been passed in 8 years. This is the first time it would be passed. All the tax collectors that feed into the the East Stroudsburg Area School District, sorry, are up for election at this cycle. They have not gotten an increase in the bills collected in 8 years, and this would provide them with an increase in their bill collection rate. This would be this would basically be if they had gotten a 3% increase in their bills per collected for the district for the last 8 years. The total cost this would impact the district is 15,000. Hang on one second. I'll get you the number real quick.
How many tax collectors do we have in the district?
Each township has one, right?
Yeah, 7.
Okay.
And then we would get, I'm gonna give you the exact increase. Just give me 1 second. I'll get it for you. Okay, I'll tell you exactly how much it is. I had it right in front of me, and then the screen closed, like the whole thing shut down. So hang on, I'll get you the total of what this would cost the district was $12,382. Yeah, and that would be, and they haven't gotten anything in 8 years. You divide that by 8 years, it would be about $1,200.
They didn't complain?
They have complained, and this is the
Okay.
reason, yeah. So this is, they, and I think this was also one of the reasons why, so the costs have gone up for them. They pay a lot, they pay some of the materials to send the tax bills out on themselves, and this why, and also, Attorney Brown built this resolution so that in the future, they would just get a 3% increase every year, and that's what this rate is, a 3% increase for every year.
Okay.
So, I think this is a fair
They're all
resolution.
local citizens.
Yeah, they're all local citizens of
In our-
each
in our-
municipality, yeah.
Yeah,
I think actually just 5. Yeah, there's 5 in Monroe County and 2 in Pike. Yeah, there's 7.
Mhm.
There's 7.
Okay.
We have our recommendations from properties and facilities, which is a JTL replacement of auditory seating in the amount of $165,197. The JM Hill gym floor refinish from Wayfair Sports, $5,766. The North Auditorium lighting upgrades in 208,866.90. The invoices 1 through 6 from CHA. I just had a question in regards to the change order for the North Campus Phase 2 storm pipe, since I did not listen to the properties facility. How did it go up 105,000? What happened?
that was wayward, whoever did that.
That's a lot of money to go up over the budget.
They, every time they unearth something, they find
More.
more concern and more things.
I thought it was a lot too, but.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about that at length at the last 2 meetings.
Yes, and I'm like, I thought we were done finding more things.
Yeah,
That's why I.
And I wish I had a stronger understanding of storm pipe drainage. But my understanding is every time they dig, they find more issues and more fill that needs to be done.
My question is, was that, why didn't, if they're that good a company, why didn't they find them before? But if they. But this is what they said they found, and. That's what Josh brought to us, yeah.
So
Like
it's
when's
literally
enough
a money
enough?
pit.
What?
It's literally a money pit.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's like, when's enough? And then we have the recommendation by the Education Programs and Resources Committee for the Gizmo Science for grades 3 through 12. And I know they're letting us start this year for free, and then it starts next year for a 2-year contract at
Is it a
$39,413.80.
pretty good program?
It is.
It's fantastic. It's simulated,
Labs,
experiences and labs for our students.
and we currently don't have any of that at that level at all.
Okay.
So it's not, it was originally just for the elementary, but the high school's doing it too now, so it's all through school,
It's
It was just what?
grades 3 through 12.
3 through 12, yeah. Okay. And there's no public participation, so let's move forward all of our items from properties and facilities.
Yep.
And we're gonna move forward, we're gonna pull out the audit, which we're gonna hear in a moment, but we're moving forward A, C, D, E, F, and G for the, correct?
Yep.
Everyone's good with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also item number 6, we're moving forward for the Education Programs and Resources Committee, Gizmo side.
Yep.
Right, and now we will invite up.
Well, let's
A
take
motion
and a second.
Motion and second,
Yep, motion second.
Yeah, motion.
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, and now we'll hear from our accountants to do our audit for Zelhoff and Axelrod.
Hello, my name is Rachel Gouger. I was the supervisor on the audit this year, and this is Jeff Was, the partner on the job. We're just gonna do a quick overview of the audit of the financial statements. Just quick and painless. I want to thank Pete and Diane, as again, getting everything done another year. Takes a little bit of time, figuring out schedules, bothering them for a couple weeks, getting it done, but it much appreciated. We're just gonna start at the beginning, pages 1 through 3. This is your audit opinion. It's a clean opinion on each of the opinion unit areas, which is a good thing. Pages 4 through 11, this is your management's discussion and analysis. This is what occurred throughout the district during the year. We do not audit this, we just make sure nothing conflicts with anything else that's in statements. This is prepared by the finance office. Just a good opportunity to read through these pages to better understand some ins and outs and some whys of what happened during the year. Page 12 and 13, these are your entity-wide statements. This consolidates all the district's finances into 2 columns. This is where you'll see governmental activities, long-term debt, capital assets, net pension liability, and your other post-employment benefits, which is healthcare after retirement. Page 13 shows a total negative net position of about 68.2 million. And you have to remember that takes into account your long-term debt, your PSERS pension, your PSERS liability, and your district OPEB plan. So that's really what drives it down into the negative.
Say again. I missed that.
Your total negative net position for governmental and business type activities is negative 68.2 million.
Okay.
Most people concentrate on page 14 and 16 though. These are your fund level statements. And the first column is what most people care about is your general fund, which is your main operating fund. General fund has a fund balance of about 51 million. Out of that, 3.9 is unassigned. The other about 48 million or so is committed or assigned for other purposes, which is laid out below. Page 16, general fund has a decrease in fund balance from last year of about $40,000. So basically your fund balance stayed the same from 2023. Your other major fund is your capital projects, which is listed out separately. This has a decrease of fund balance in about 5.3 million. That's just because of the expenses that were paid out for various projects. And there was no transfer in from general fund as there was in 2023. Your other column, your non-major fund, is a combination of scholarship and special activity funds. Those funds remain relatively the same compared to prior year. Page 18 and 19, this is your enterprise fund, which is your food service fund. This fund shows negative net position of about 730,000, which is a change from 2023 of about 986,000. This fund is full accrual, so you will see the PSERS pension liability and OPEB liability, which is what drives this fund balance into the negative. Page 21 and 22, these are your fiduciary funds, which is your student activity funds. No big change to 2023. Starting at page 23, these are the notes to the financial statements. This just provides details of a couple numbers and highlights areas, further explaining certain areas in your financials. I'll go over a couple. Page 34, this is note 6. This discusses the capital assets of the district, the ins and outs and your depreciation for the year. Page 35, this is note 7. This discusses your long-term debt, which includes various bonds and notes that the district has taken out over the year. The end of 2024 is about $85 million. The district also leases computer equipment, other things for totaling about 1.6 million outstanding. Page 40, which is note 10. This is your PSERS pension plan in great detail. If you want to read it, there's a lot of schedules and detail from PSERS about the retirement plan. In total, the district has a net pension liability of about $205 million. Page 45 is note 11. In addition to your PSERS pension, PSERS offers an OPEB liability, which is healthcare. The liability of that is about 8.3 million. In addition to the PSERS OPEB liability, the district has its own separate OPEB liability plan for the district only. That starts on page 49. Total net OPEB liability for that is about $24.6 million. Big schedule that a lot of people like to look at is page 55. This is your general fund budget taxable statement. Revenues, you came in about 2.3 million over budget, and expenditures, you were about 4.6 million under budget. You were over revenue in all those line items, and for expenditures, the two main ones that the largest ones that you were under budget was regular program and pupil personnel services. Page 57 through 61, these are 10-year schedules. They're required for pension and OPEB plans. They're just required schedules. In addition to the financial statement audit, we do a single audit, which is your federal funding. Page 64 is our government auditing standards opinion, also known as the Yellow Book, in case you've ever heard of that. This is also a clean opinion for the district. Page 66 is the single audit uniform guidance opinion, which is your federal programs. This is also a clean opinion. We vary our programs every year. So for 2024, we tested the IDEA cluster, which is your special education cluster, along with the Education Stabilization Fund, which is also called your ARC or your ESSER funds, is your big grants program in there. And that's your statements in a brief nutshell.
Will we be responsible for DASB 104, 101, 102, 3 next year?
I don't have that page in front of me. Somewhere in note 1, we list out when those will be adopted.
That's my question. I mean, she mentioned there's a fee for that, but.
First on page 30.
Yeah, so the main one next year is compensated absences.
Yeah,
For your 24, 25 as well as 102. And then actually 103 and
Next year.
104 are 2026.
Okay.
The certain risk disclosures should not, 102 should have very limited effect in the district. We need to talk about compensated absences with Peter and just make sure what the effect is on the financial statements when we get into 24, 25.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions in regards to it? Okay. Yes, I'm looking for our next meeting.
I'm gonna.
Will be-
Don't you guys have to vote on?
Oh, let's vote
On
for
this,
the audit.
yeah.
All in favor?
I.
Our next meeting is February 10th.
Did we motion
All right, so I make a
Well-
motion that we accept the
Audit.
recommend the audit to the board.
And George, do you second that? Do you second that?
Second, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're good, okay. Tried watching the clock, I'm like, can we get him out real quick?
that? Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
And then our next meeting is Monday, February 10th at 2025 at 5:30, both here and via Zoom. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Rich, all in favor?
Aye.
You can go to your next meeting. Good.
Thank you.
Well done.
Wow.
Oh, we had a.
Wow.
Yeah.